What up, watch peeps? I talked to this really cool watch marketing guy, and he reaches out to me every so often and asks if I want to take a look at a certain watch. So when he emailed me and asked if I wanted to look at the new Ugly Watch Co., I was like, hell yeah, I do. That sounds like my kind of jam. You name your brand Ugly Watch Co., that's a bold move. When I actually finally laid eyes on the watch, I was surprised. Because it actually is ugly, or because it isn't? Let's find out. I'm Pete, and we are Chilling with Watches. Wrist check. This is one of the G-Shock 5600s that I just modded. You know, I didn't shoot any footage of the mod, but honestly, it was just a bezel and strap swap to an aftermarket red jelly with some yellow tinted adhesive film over the display. That's it, but I've been wearing this a ton. It's a lot of fun, man. Super cool G-Shock. Nice to kind of have a fun one of these back in the collection. But what we have here is something awesome, and is it indeed ugly? Gotta love a case. It just says ugly on it. This thing's a pretty cool case, actually. You know, you could put this on the combat webbing of your backpack if you wanted to. So let's see what we got here. Check this out. That is a lot to look at, and I honestly have been having a lot of fun wearing this watch. So this is the new Ugly Watch Co. 100 meter sport. Now what these are 41 millimeter sport watches. So think Black Bay 41, but I'll tell you what, this doesn't wear as big as a Black Bay 41, and I'll explain why in just a bit. So colors, I obviously have the pink here, but there is also a blue, black, and purple, and as you can see, these are all mother of pearl dials, so they have this kind of really cool texture to them, and you get different colors and different light. I've been having a lot of fun wearing it. Price-wise, I think the Kickstarter on these right now, they are available to back the campaign at $289. So this particular pink mop dial I have here, under different lighting, you can see kind of some blues in there, and it even has like an almost striated effect. It looks like clouds and a sunrise or a sunset. Just really beautiful. Now, I realize this color is not something that everyone is going to be comfortable with. I find myself gravitating towards, you know, more wild and outlandish colors these days. After you've handled hundreds of watches, you know, basic and safe just becomes kind of boring. And the fact that it's a little big at 41 millimeters just adds to it. It's in your face, but this mother of pearl is a beautiful material, and it does come in some more conservative colors if that better suits you. So the Loom plots are bigger at 3, 6, 9, and 12. You can see those kind of double stick markers, but these little kind of white dots on the outside, those are loomed as well. So there is loom at every hour and on the hands as well. And it's the same BGW9 across the way, but they're really high polished kind of indices and hands. I think they kind of match the whole overall vibe of this watch quite well. Got your date window at 3 o'clock, slightly shorter hour marker there at 3 o'clock to accommodate that date. Nice clean dial with nothing but automatic at 6 o'clock. And I kind of like this logo. I'm not sure what exactly that is supposed to be, but it's a nice kind of simple wedge. We have a flat sapphire crystal, which helps to maintain the overall thinness of this watch. Now the bezel is thin as well, angled at 45 degrees and polished. The case sides on this watch are really nice, one of my favorite things. You can see the polish in the bezel, but also you can see how the top of the lugs are polished, but they're slightly angled, so you can see that from the side view as well. Then you have this brushed mid case and more polish again on the case back. So the kind of alternating polish, brush, polish, I just find it very appealing. It's a really nice look to me. Now, 22 millimeter lug width with really thin lugs is probably the best way to do this case size of 41 millimeters. 20 millimeter lugs would have made this thing look like a lollipop, but these really thin lugs make this thing wear and present much smaller than the Black Bay 41. We have a 6 millimeter coin edge crown that is signed, and I think that is just about the right size crown for this watch. And from this angle, you can really see some of the detail of that mother of pearl dial and some of the different colors in there as well. Flipping it over to take a look at the case back, You know, I love concentric circles. And again, you have this alternating polish, bead blast, polish, and then the glass. And inside, it's giving you a view of that Seagull ST2130. This is a movement I really like. I've used it a couple times in mods, and I've had no problems with it. I think it's a good runner. It's a high beat movement. And in this case, you have the Geneva stripes on the rotor and plenty of perlage on the plates. I think making it a really nice movement to look at. And from this view, you can also see that it has solid end lengths. The lugs are not drilled, but that's kind of common for a sport watch. They are male end lengths though, so they are going to add to that overall lug to lug. But the true lug to lug on this watch is again much shorter than that of the Black Bay 41. Another thing that contributes to it wearing smaller than that watch does. Now this bracelet kind of reminds me of a strap code Jubilee, or I think we're supposed to call it a J. Lewis now. Who came up with that? I feel like a doof when I say it. I'm going to call it a jelly bean or something. But anyway, it has the perfect 4mm taper from 22 at the lugs down to 18 at the clasp. Pretty standard milled out kind of dive style clasp with a safety fold over. It is again signed on this top part. You don't see too many with the logo on the top part. Usually you will find that on the bottom. Now again, Seagull ST2130, I don't know if I've ever had one of those on the time grapher before, so we're going to wind this thing up and stick it on there and see how it's running. So it seems to have settled in at about +8 seconds today with a crazy high amplitude of 327, so it's running really clean, very powerful, zero beat error. What a great runner. This is a movement that I said I find it to be a great workhorse, a really good ETA 2824 alternative. I used it in this particular build that I've had for a few years now. No problems whatsoever. So this particular example of the movement looks like it's running great. Talking dimensions, we have a 41mm on the nose case with a lug to lug of 47.4 millimeters. Case thickness comes in at a nice thin 11.3 millimeters thick, and it has 22 millimeter lug width. Going over some of the other specs, we have a flat sapphire crystal. It uses BGW9 Loom on the dial, markers, and the hands. And as the name would suggest, it features 100 meters of water resistance, and it is running the Seagull ST2130 movement. And on the supplied bracelet size for my 7¼ inch wrist, it comes in at 131 grams. And here is how it wears on my 7¼ inch wrist. I actually think it wears quite well, much better than other 41 sports style watches I have had. I had a Black Bay 41 and I thought that thing just wore way too chunky, but this one is not too bad at all. Really, actually quite comfortable for its size. So let's take a look at it side by side, some other watches. First up, here it is next to the 36.5mm Traska Commuter. And man, just looking at these two colors, how much fun are these? I'm looking forward to wearing these all summer long. So obviously, much larger than the Traska Commuter. Not much thicker, if it's thicker at all though. Moving up just a little bit to 38mm, here is the new Van Banner AO. And you can see we're getting closer, still larger. I think the Van Banner wears pretty true to its size. I think this one wears maybe more like a 40. In fact, in getting watches out to do this comparison, I found the perfect comparison for this watch. Again, very similarly in the thickness to the Van Banner AO as well. But the watch that this is almost identical to is the Tudor Ranger. Again, a 41mm case with very thin angled lugs. Even the case sides, let's see if I can get two of the same sides, are very similar in the way they're done. Kind of the bezel, case back, mid-case proportions. These watches wear a lot alike, and I always found the Ranger to wear much smaller than the Black Bay 41 did, and this one wears kind of similar to that. Maybe a little larger because the dial is lighter and brighter. All right, last thing, let's check out the Loom.
Keep the Loom.
And there you go. I wouldn't call it a Loom monster, but a really nice application, perfectly sufficient for a sport watch. And I kind of like how the blue on the hour markers around the outside looks darker than the blue on 36912 and the hands. Pretty cool application of Loom. So there you go, the new Ugly Watch Co. 100 meter sport on Kickstarter right now. And you know what? I've been wearing the shit out of this watch. Sometimes you just gotta embrace the wild and the flashy, step outside your comfort zone, and you just might find you have a lot of fun doing it. And that's where I'm at with this one right now. So go check it out. All right, before I let you go, sneaker check. Wearing my new Polaroid Nike Dunks. What's up? All right, that's it. I'm out. If it's not too much trouble, please like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace.